Good afternoon. My name is Ken Scott. I had a whole different agenda I wanted to talk about today, but I was asked by one person not to say anything, so I'm not going to. I'm not getting there to get into that. What happened at the last committee meeting I thought was a little inappropriate. You folks on the board, and you have autonomy. I'm sure Mr. Benish will agree to that. There's no one that you answer to. We as the general public have no place to go to complain if any one of you does something wrong. Now, during the break between the end of the public meeting and the start of the executive session that you guys discuss, which honestly I understand because a lot of it's we're not privy to as public, and rightly so. There was a conversation ensued. I came up and asked for a correction on the minutes because it said I talked about hangers. I did not. I talked about badges. And I talked to Mr. Williams, and he said he was going to check on it for me, and I appreciate that. Behind me, Mr. Gomez walked up and was talking to Mr. Engel about the call to the public and why he forgot, or what happened, and he said he just forgot. And then from that point on, and I had no idea that Mr. Gomez had his recorder on. From that point on, there was a cussing matter that ensued that, as far as I'm concerned, with you guys with autonomy, you have to show professionalism all the time, even if it's in between break or anything else. The reason why I'm bringing it up tonight is because when I came in and sat down and was talking to Mr. Rice just for a minute or two before the meeting started, Mr. Engel walked behind me and says, "Watch out who you're talking to. You might be recorded." I turned around and looked at him and I said, "I didn't know anything about it. I was called a liar."
I did not say that.
I don't appreciate that. I was told I had an ally in him until that happened. Now I no longer have it. I don't appreciate that. I'm stating it now on the record, and I hope you do exactly get it right. I did not know about that or anything else. What I thought was wrong was the way the phone call and the conversation between that 5 minutes was handled. And now tonight with this. You know, if you guys want to kick me out of here, justify your reasons and do it. But to call me a liar when I said twice I didn't know anything about it, he said, "I don't believe you." That's not right. You've got autonomy. You've got the highest office in the world. Mr. Robert Pacals can't even come in and say anything to you. We have no place in the world to go to complain. We have to do what you want. So if this man over here decides, "I'm not going to have any more calls to the public," we're screwed. But I know for a fact that one doctor talked to Mr. Gressel, and I hope I pronounce it right, I'm sorry if I'm not, about when he wanted to cancel the call to the public, and this doctor said, "It's the worst thing in the world you can do." And I don't think any of you, or you might, Mr. Gould would, Mr. Corbett would, Mr. Rice would know, what kind of fallout would happen. I'm not threatening anything. I'm just saying there'd be a lot of fallout, and it's just not worth the hassle. I mean, I know Mr. Albert, I know Mr. Whitehead, Mr. Rice. Is it because they're associated with me, they're going to get in trouble? This is not right. And it's getting way out of hand. And okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Anybody else?
My name is Mitch Dunn from GA. You guys are
Do
all...
me a favor, back up a little bit, would you? Appreciate it.
We'll do that there. And as Mr. Scott so eloquently said, I think things have got out of hand here. I was going to speak about several other things, but I did witness Mr. Williams grab Joe's camera. Joe was sitting there minding his own business, not doing a thing in the world, and Mr. Williams walked up and grabbed his camera and tossed his camera and said, "Is this thing on?" And I think Ken made a very good point there. It's always on. I know that anything we say can be held against us out on the airport and when we talk here. So I think if, look, you know, at the last meeting, Mr. Engel scolded everybody, scolded, I think myself probably, and said, we need to keep things civil. If things weren't kept civil, he was going to eliminate call to public. At the committee meeting, he did eliminate call to public. And Mr. Gomez has a video on his website of Mr. Ingold, as Mr. Scott said, using profanity. And you know, I think this board, if you want to be treated civilly and you want people to come to you with their problems, you got to lead by example. If you want us to be civil to us. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Joseph Ernest Gomez. I'd like to follow up on some comments I made on the 27th of April when Mr. Albert Gardner was so kind to let me speak at the strategy meeting. One of the topics that I spoke of involved the disclosure of some leases that had seemingly vanished from the website after a couple of call to public requests by Mr. Scott that were not acted upon for the past several months. Mr. Williams had in fact sent me an email and said, "Oh, you're right. Those leases were not there," and he sent me an email. Within the body of the email, it reads as follows. "Dear Mr. Gomez, I understand you wish to obtain a copy of an archived lease from the airport files. To properly address such requests, we have a request for public records form. It can be found at," and then it references a website. Well, that's a Freedom of Information Act request, and in between the multitude of litigation that has been transpiring before this airport, a similar Freedom of Information request was done by Mr. Scott Freeman of Freeman Holdings, and I have an email here. The request parallels the exact request that I made to Mr. Williams surrounding airport files, and the email reads as follows. From Mr. Williams to Scott Freeman. "Good morning, Scott. In response to your Freedom of Information request concerning my letters to Garza Aviation, please see the 2 attachments below. I'll update you after my discussion with Mr. Benish later this morning." Now then, maybe I wasn't explicit, maybe I didn't use the right choice of words, maybe I just didn't get it right on the 27th of April. I made a legitimate request for action of staff to follow up to see if Mr. Freeman was in fact subject to the same sort of parameters for this document disclosure and for these Freedom of Information Act requests. And I'm told that Mr. Ingold characterized us as people that are always saying more of the same, and the themes surrounding these comments here are always redundant, and it's more of the same. I beg to differ, and I think that if this board would look at the call to public commentary and take a close look at it and do the due diligence, I think that the room may not be filled up with people that are slightly sideways about the impression of this board. And I don't have any other comments today. Thank you for your time.
Anybody else?
I got one. Jim Kermit has nothing to do with it. I'm discussing about the 22 cents a gallon of fuel you're charging everybody on the station for the ramps. And the ramps, you, if I'm not mistaken, are being paid for by grants and stuff. That's why the general aviation doesn't have to pay for the parking spaces out there, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just wondering if you're charging all these military aircraft 22 cents a gallon for their aircraft too, when they park over here at Millionaire and get their C-130s filled up, and that's a lot of gas for 22 cents a gallon.
Would you like me to respond to Mr. Kermit? Sure.
Don't talk after me.
John Ewing here. At the risk of sounding like old man of the sea, I've been in Airport Authority meeting. This is my 37th year. And they used to be very enjoyable, and it was very happy times, and there was very, very little controversy. I don't know what has happened over the last few years, but it is certainly a very, very different atmosphere.
Anybody else?
As long as we're into it, on the Tom Trotter General Aviation, I see today on the call to the public, and I noticed that online it was also the same thing. Call to the public has always been, it's up to the president to either call or not. Today on this one, this is the time for the public to comment. The president of the board will conduct a call to the public to accept comments from the public. Where did it come from? How did it happen? It's changed. It says will. You will. Did somebody tell you that you will, or is it just a misprint?